Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to True Common Ground Podcast. Another moment of poddemonium.
What the hell is poddemonium?
It's when we all get together and have fun talking about all the miserable things that are happening in the United States right now. One of them is that Mark Meadows, former chief of staff for President, I hate to say that, but for Trump, he was trying to get his case moved out of Georgia and onto the federal docket because he was just doing his job as chief of staff and trying to overturn the 2020 election, which I think that's a part of the job now, I guess. The 11th Circuit.
I fear that it actually will be.
I think, I'll tell you one thing, if Trump gets reelected, it definitely will be. But because he's not going to leave in 2028. He'll stay there for life. I'm sure of it.
Well, they'll overturn. They'll get rid of the 22nd Amendment.
Yeah,
and he'll be able to stay as long as he likes.
Oh, they're going to start chopping and chewing that old thing called the Constitution into little pieces. But the 11th Circuit appellate said no, and you will still have to go to court in Georgia if Fani Willis gets out of this soap opera.
Have you watched any of that? Did you watch any of that?
Yeah. It's been ridiculous. If anybody has any doubts over, this whole idea about is no man above the law, we can pretty much shit can that idea forever now, because as long as you have money and you're white and Republican, you can pretty much buy yourself out of any problem that might come along. And even if you get indicted and then eventually convicted, you can delay until you never have to worry about it. So that's the situation.
Trump's been doing that since the 80s.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, go after the prosecutor. Let's see if we can't destroy her career, okay? Because she had an amorous relationship with another prosecutor. This has nothing at all to do with, it might not be appropriate for the head of a Department of Justice in a state to have a relationship with somebody that works for her. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. I think if they stopped all relationships within any state office, you'd probably have to empty out half the office.
I've heard that.
But she's being destroyed right now because she's taken a case against a man who tried to illegally overturn an election on a phone conversation that we've all heard. We all know that he broke the law. We all know what he did. We have a recording. And yet this poor woman is going through this. Texas had a big fire, and they're having trouble, you were saying, putting it out?
Yeah, it's another climate change consequence.
Yeah.
And now they're asking for resources from everywhere because they don't have it. They can't fight the fire. It's too big.
Because they have shied away from proper infrastructure development. And the reason they do that is because infrastructure costs money. And if you pass an infrastructure bill like we just did, eventually rich people have to pay their fair share. Trump had, I think it was 6 infrastructure weeks. He called them infrastructure weeks. This is when his cabinet and some other experts and people would sit around a table and tell him how handsome he looked and how nice the shade of orange was and things like that. And they never passed a single dime in infrastructure money in 4 years' time. So Biden comes in, gets almost $2 trillion passed, the single largest amount of money ever spent in the world on environment and climate change. And so he gets the job done. Trump does absolutely nothing. Who cares if the world falls, if the country falls over a cliff? And who gives a damn what our children have to pay or our grandchildren have to pay? And then the last and most ridiculous thing that was in the news this morning was that Trump's lawyers asked the judge not to force him to post bail because he's too rich. He's too rich to post bail.
He's too rich.
He's too rich. I don't have the money to post bail, but I'm too rich to post bail.
And it's really the court's response to his constant ridiculous claims and insistences and so on. The court's response is to they absolutely have to avoid looking like they're prejudiced against him. So they have to lean backwards until their heads, on their shoes, making every adjustment possible to suit his requirements, because otherwise he'll just, they're all against me. They're all against me.
Yeah. But see, he does that anyway. He constantly does that. It's the real Jesus complex right now.
He is. He's Jesus.
They're coming. I'm preventing them from coming to you. They're doing this to me. And I'm fighting them so that they won't do it to you.
And it makes it all okay.
Yeah, that's really nuts. Did you hear him talking about, that black people like me because I have a mugshot? And, black people, they all have a mugshot.
This is not racist in any way, of course, because it's true.
Yeah. And
in his mind.
And they like sneakers, too. Black people like sneakers. So I'm going to make these
super ridiculously gaudy.
They're clown sneakers.
Golden tea sneakers.
Right.
It is painful. Oh. I saw the guy that talks to extreme Trump voters, and he just asked some questions and they respond. And he was asking about, Putin and the woman's response to everything that he said. Well, nope, I don't think that. Nope, I don't think he's an enemy of the United States, because I saw Tucker Carlson's interview.
Right.
That Putin himself actually called weak.
I know. He calls Carlson.
It's a weak interview.
Yeah, right. I thought he was going to ask me tough questions, but he's a putz. Turns out he's a putz.
Whatever happened to Fox News getting jacked up for several billion for their shenanigans, and now they're back doing the same thing again? Well, what changed?
You'll notice what I've noticed is that you'll see one of their commentators every once in a while, in a very prepared way, come out on the side of justice. And that basically gives Fox the ability to tag it and say, you see, this is punditry, and they stated the facts, and these people are stating opinion and things like that. So they're being very careful about it now. They don't want to lose their audience, but you will definitely see at regular intervals one of their B or C list reporters, never Sean Hannity, or something like that, but one of them will come out on the side of justice and say something. But, they still have, I think it's a $789 million, almost $1 billion fine to pay. And with interest, it'll probably go over $1 billion. They have the money. They can do it. They probably will have to pay it with interest. And that's just one lawsuit. There's another one coming from the other voting machine company.
So, right. Dominion and
right. Dominion, and then there's another one. But they're never going to be underwater. But it's certainly going to hurt them. And if I were a stockholder, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Well, they're all. I think all of these, people are just waiting for Trump to get back in office.
Yeah, sure.
Because he can make it all go away.
He can make the federals go away immediately. He can, and he will. He'll try to pardon himself.
Well, he'll work it to his benefit first.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that, but you're going to have to do this for me.
I think NATO will become the European treaty organization.
Right.
Right. But it's not going to be NATO anymore. Not going to be the North American Treaty Organization anymore.
And the thing about that, which is people that don't believe that the United States should be arming Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't make weapons.
Yeah.
Ukraine does not have any of that capability. They don't, and the United States doesn't give them money. They give them weapons.
First of all, any money that we allocate, $60 billion to Ukraine, for its defense is money we're allocating for Europe's defense and for our defense. Because when Ukraine falls and he takes the rest of their oil and their wheat, which is used to feed most of Europe and North Africa, he becomes much more powerful, and then he starts to march on Poland and the Baltic states. So whatever we give Ukraine is for us, number one. Number two, the money we give Ukraine for weaponry, they give back to us. That's why Mitch McConnell wants this thing passed. That's why he's on our side about this, because the weapons are made in Kentucky and in places that he is responsible for, the middle and southern states. That's where our munitions factories are. So the money comes right back to America. If Europe starts to fall, if Europe must take up arms against Russia, and they certainly will have to do that if Russia prevails in Ukraine, we're going to have to send our own young men and women to fight with them. We're going to have to do that. And even if Trump thinks, well, no, I'm not going to do that, I'll hold them back, it will just become a more catastrophic problem by the time we finally get this imbecile out of the office and somebody else takes over. So this is very, very dangerous, what's happening right now.
You're exactly right. Everything I've heard and read since this Ukraine thing, that's exactly how it works. And actually, I don't think the money goes anywhere. I think they just say, here's a pile of credits, and we're going to give you this stuff.
But the profit goes to munitions companies here in the United States.
Sure. Yeah. MIC, man, the big old MIC. So why can't other NATO countries give their stockpiles to Ukraine?
They are doing that.
When finally the House it turns over, when everyone gets tired of the assholes that they put in office and votes them out and puts thinking people. I'm not asking them to be from any political stripe. I just want them to be people who think, people who have reasonable minds, not ridiculous sycophants that are there now.
Are you intimating that Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't think?
I don't think she knows a thing about any damn thing.
Yeah.
I don't think she's got a working brain cell in her cranium.
How about Comer? There's a fella. I'll tell you what.
Jim
Jordan. I mean, do you ever just look at these guys and just say to yourself, how the hell did we ever... We've got this Bible-thumping moron, religious zealot who's now the Speaker of the House, the third in line for the presidency. We've got Jim Jordan. I mean, this is a kind of trash, the kind of filth that inhabits our Congress on the MAGA side. It's really sickening.
They've got the lingo down, man. They parrot Trump, and which gets some points, on that side. And also everyone recognizes the phrases and goes for it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's American. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, after yesterday's primary, Trump is going to be the candidate. He's going to be the heir apparent for the Republican Party.
But the nice thing is, so far anyway, he can't carry the Republican Party.
It doesn't look like he can.
So that chunk that he can't carry, that's going to Nikki Haley, and in some states it's not nothing. I think
40%.
Georgia or
in South Carolina, 40%.
She got a chunk.
Yeah.
So if he can't win those people over, which plainly he can't, they're going to vote for someone else.
Yeah. Here's the real danger.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. It's the damn Electoral College. 270 votes in the Electoral College.
Right.
Even if he doesn't get enough of those votes back, if Biden doesn't get 270 Electoral College votes, it goes to the Congress.
Then we go to the Congress.
And Donald Trump becomes president. Period.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a guy in my county here who's been like the head of the Nazi party for a long time. He's very weird, man.
You mentioned the Nazi party. They were at the recent PAC convention this past weekend, and
isn't that great?
Yeah,
isn't that just perfect?
They've come to PAC conventions before and actually been turned away. Sent
Sure.
away. No, you can't come in here and everything. Not this year.
Republicans used to be Americans.
Yeah, not this year. No, they were fine there this year. They got to speak. They got to talk. They got to participate. We're in a crazy place, a really dangerous place. And you hear people say this is an existential threat. It really, really is.
It is.
This is not hyperbole. This is real.
The thing I was thinking about in regard to that, it's like there's built into the American psyche. There's a patriotism that requires your sacrifice, your actual life. And it seems that too long of a peacetime results in a kind of warlike thing going on in the public. They're almost ready to jump in and start and get the fight going. Let's go. Okay, I've had it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be and they see themselves as representing the real America. And the other side represents, the real America. And, it's the Civil War.
I feel like it's already started. I really do.
Yeah. This is very, very pre-Civil War milieu.
Well, you always hear Texas talking about secession. Alabama being told by the Supreme Court that you're gerrymandering to an extreme here, and we won't accept these maps.
Well, we ain't changing.
Yeah. And then
what are you going to do about it?
When they start to ignore that, what do we got to do to stop this? What is the one thing we can do?
How do you stop it? Vote.
Now, I've heard people say, and I think you have too, I'm not going to vote, or they're all the same. They're this.
Not going to bother. The idea that they're all the same is not correct. Look at the Supreme Court. These people are not the same. They are not patriots. They are not constitutional American patriots.
And a full 1/3 of that Supreme Court was seated by Donald Trump.
McConnell is another one. They stole Obama's selection.
Mm-hmm.
Just not going to get it.
They're in the minority, so they're going to keep doing everything they can to subvert the government and to move it in the direction they want to move it in. This is tyranny. This is the tyranny of the minority. And this is going to continue unless we vote in numbers too big to rig and too real to steal. I keep saying that, but we've got to. Nobody can stay home. If you stay home, you're voting for Donald Trump. If you vote for Robert Kennedy Jr., you're voting for Donald Trump. If you vote for a no labels candidate, you're voting for Donald Trump. Now, I know that annoys some people, but it's a fact.
Absolutely does.
It's just math.
I agree that in a better, more patriotic, less sycophantic and poisonous body politic, we should be able to have multiple choices.
The bottom line here is just this. Right now, it's democracy or dictatorship. That's it. I mean, that's really what it is. Let's get past dictatorship, and then let's hold their feet to the fire. Let's raise hell. Let's demonstrate. Let's do everything we have to do so that we don't get into this miserable situation again. And let's make the changes that need to be made. And it's going to be hard.
Not that it's going to be simple.
No, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of effort and everything else. But if we lose November 5th, if we lose that election, it doesn't matter, because none of the corrections that we hope to see, none of the improvements, none of the enhancements, none of that forming of a more perfect union is going to occur if a criminal takes his position in our Oval Office, in our White House. So you have to vote.
As the much maligned Nancy Pelosi said, don't agonize, organize, because that's how Democrats win. I'm a Democrat because I wanted Bernie Sanders to be I wanted him to win the primary. But I'm not like a heart and soul Democrat. I'm really not. I'm an American. I am a patriot. And I believe in the Constitution of the United States. And right now, I need a Democrat. I may not be a Democrat after that election, but that's the one I need now.
I'm with you all the way. I think that many good and decent patriotic people feel very similar, very, very much the same way that you do.
I hope.
Nobody can stay home in this election. This is the one where we're fighting for our lives right now. Not really our lives as much, at least in my case, in your case, Don. We're fighting for our kids' lives and our grandkids' lives. So thanks, everybody, for listening. Vote, vote, vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
It does.
Thank you very much.
How do you like my hat?
I like your hat. I think it's a great hat. Can I get one of them? How do you like mine?
Ooh, it's shiny.
Such a reflection. Oh, my
That's
God.
a shiny hat.
What in the world happened there? I was looking at the screen, and all of a sudden I went blind. I can't. Oh, my God. All right, here we go.
All right.
We all want to be safe. We all want to be warm. We all want to feel loved, know the comfort of home. Want our children to grow, learn to make their own sound. Seems to me we all walk on common ground. Common ground, common ground. We all walk on common ground.
We all wanna be strong, fully free and alive. Take just enough chances, stand up tall and with pride. Yes, we all wanna play, have good friends all around. It seems to me we all walk on common ground. Common ground, common ground.
We all walk on common ground. Some conversations aren't easy, and we wonder how we'll turn this mess around. But if we realize and seek to compromise, we sleep under one moon, lift our face to one sun, feel the wetness of rain, seek shelter, everyone. Yearn for rest when we're weary, seek solace when we're down. It seems to me we all walk on common ground.
Some conversations aren't easy,
and we wonder how we'll turn this mess around. But if we realize and seek to compromise, we can meet on common ground. Common ground. We all walk on common ground. Common ground, common ground. We all walk. I know that we all walk 1 foot forward. We all walk on common